Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're talking about something really common, but also kind of hidden. A little secret your bones might be keeping. It's called an enchondroma, and we're about to uncover it.
So picture this, right? You take a little tumble, maybe you sprain your wrist, and you go in for a routine x-ray. The doctor comes back and says, well, the good news is no serious break, but we did find something else. That something else is exactly where our story starts, and believe me, this happens way more often than you'd think.
So how do we usually stumble upon this little medical mystery? Well, it's not with some big dramatic event. It's more like a whisper, a complete and total surprise.
And that's the absolute key. Most of the time, you don't even know it's there. You don't feel it. It's what doctors call an incidental finding, which basically means they found it by accident while looking for something else. You go in for a sprain, and boom, the x-ray reveals this unexpected guest just hanging out inside your bone.
Okay, so what is this secret that your bones have been keeping? Let's finally put a name to the face and break down exactly what we're dealing with here.
Now, I know when you hear the word tumor, your brain can jump to some scary places. But let's be super clear. This is benign. That's the most important word. It means it's non-cancerous. All it is a little growth of cartilage, the same flexible stuff that cushions your joints, that just happens to be growing where it's not supposed to be, right inside a bone. And location? Location is everything. If this little cartilage growth is inside the bone, we call it an enchondroma. That N part means within. But if a similar thing pops up on the surface of the bone, that gets a different name, a chondroma. So that tiny prefix makes all the difference.
So, where do these things like to hide out? Well, they absolutely love the small bones in your hands and feet. But they're not too picky. They can also show up in the big guys, like your thigh bone, your upper arm bone, and even in your ribs.
And who gets them? Well, they're typically found in people between the ages of 15 and 35. So it's really something that shows up in younger folks. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It's an equal opportunity condition.
And for most people, this is a one-and-done kind of thing. It's a solitary finding. You just have the one. It is worth pointing out, though, that in some very rare genetic conditions, like something called Ollier's disease, a person can actually have a whole bunch of them all over their body.
All right, let's put on our detective hats for a second. How does a doctor look at a weird little shadow on an x-ray and know for sure what it is? It's all about spotting the clues.
Okay, clue number 1. You're looking at an x-ray. Your bone is bright white, right? Well, this shows up as a darker spot inside that white bone. Doctors call it a radiolucent area, which just means the x-rays pass through it more easily. And it's not just some random smudge, it's usually a nice, neat, well-defined spot right in the middle of the bone.
And here it is, the aha moment, the real clincher. Inside that darker area, doctors look for these little white specks, like little flecks of paint. That's calcification. The term pathognomonic is just a fancy medical term for a smoking gun. It's a sign so unique that when you see it, you know exactly what you're dealing with. It's the fingerprint that solves the case.
Remember how he said they're usually found by accident? Well, sometimes that accident is actually a fracture. Because this growth is taking up space, it can weaken that part of the bone. So you might get a break from a minor fall that normally wouldn't hurt a healthy bone. That's called a pathological fracture. And get this, in the hand, an enchondroma is the #1 reason for that to happen. Wild, right?
Okay, so the mystery is solved, you've got the diagnosis. Now comes the million-dollar question. What do you do about it?
This is maybe the most important thing to take away from all of this. Ready? Most of the time, you do nothing. Absolutely nothing. If it's not bothering you, if it's stable, the most common approach is just to monitor it. It's what they call watchful waiting.
So when is treatment actually needed? Well, a doctor will think about stepping in if one of 3 things happens. 1, it starts to get bigger on follow-up x-rays. 2, it starts to hurt. Or 3, it's already caused one of those pathological fractures we just talked about. Simple as that.
Now, if surgery does become the answer, the procedure itself is pretty straightforward. It's really a 2-step deal. First, the surgeon goes in and just meticulously cleans out all that cartilage tissue. It's called a curettage. Then, step 2, they've got to fill that new empty space. So they'll pack it with a bone graft or a special kind of bone cement to make sure the bone is strong again.
So if we boil this all down, what do you need to remember? Just 3 things. Number 1, it's benign. It's not cancer. That's huge. Number 2, it's almost always found by pure chance. And number 3, and this is the big one, in many, many cases, the best thing to do is nothing at all. Just leave it be.